Have you ever attempted to build an IKEA cabinet only to realize that not only are you missing the little thingies that you put on the back of the place with the stuff, but the thingamabob that screws them in too is missing? Imagine if you could go to a website, download the missing objects, and print them out. Our next guest's company is kickstarting a project that could potentially solve that IKEA conundrum, a 3D printer for your home. Joining us now is Kelly John Rose, the CEO of Panda Robotics, just up the street here in Toronto. Good to have you with us.
Oh, nice to meet you.
All right, now that idea that an Allen key is missing from my box or a screw of some sort, how realistic is that we can go from what we've got right here to that scenario?
Well, right now we can print out anything out of plastic from a 3D model. So if it's something out of plastic, like the little piece that holds up your shelves or those objects, you can just print that out.
So this is plastic. It's liquid plastic that you're basically building layer by layer.
Yes, it's ABS. The same stuff you make Legos made out of.
All right, but how strong is it? Because I have to confess, this doesn't seem particularly strong, at least in this iteration.
That one we printed out with a single layer, just to show how fine of a layer we can print. The one beside it, the squirrel, you can pick that up and give that as hard of a hit as you want, and it's fairly solid.
Really? Yeah, I can see that. Okay, so how long before we actually have that ability to go on the internet, download something, and print it off at home?
Well, technically you can do that right now. There are many sites available online where you can download these 3D models and print them out on the PandaBot.
So I guess the big issue right now is that this big box is not something that I'm going to find at Best Buy just yet.
Not just yet. Right now we're looking to go onto Kickstarter to see if we can raise the capital to start the initial run to manufacture for the consumer market.
I'm impressed with how quiet it is, but because it's doing that fractional layer by layer, how long would something like the B on the BNN logo here take to print off?
That took about 40 minutes.
Okay, that's not too bad, all things considered.
Not bad.
All right, I can imagine, though, going onto a website and downloading a part raises copyright issues as well. What kind of world are you going to be living in when you have to worry about, the copyright authorities banging down your door?
Well, this is, physical objects have always been historically dealt with by patent, not by copyright.
Oh, okay, right.
So, as we've discovered with the music industry and the movie industry, we are going to have to develop new business models specifically to handle this that are friendly to clients.
Because they dealt with that very well in the music and television.
Well, as we know, they weren't very friendly, but over time they've discovered that being nice to the consumer leads to more and more income through IP release.
Okay, so you want to make this a household product, and so I see your Kickstarter here is for $800 to be kicked in by an individual, but I can't imagine this thing is only $800.
Well, the $800 is our Kickstarter offer because we calculated the manufacturing costs, and we realized that if we achieve our Kickstarter goal, that we can begin to manufacture these and get the tooling we need to build these on a large scale. The actual price for the consumer market hasn't been entirely decided yet, but it won't be much higher than the Kickstarter price.
Okay, so with that said and done, why go to Kickstarter?
Well, because we want to show, A, that there's interest in this product to any potential investors, but also it allowed us the time to spend in designing and making this product better rather than chasing after the initial capital to build that initial run.
What happens if you don't hit your desired funding goal? Because we hear the stories about people throwing money into a Kickstarter program and then it just evaporates.
If you don't hit your desired funding goal, the money is just returned to the supporters of the Kickstarter program.
Okay, so I want to come back to this product specifically here, whether it's $800 or $1,000 or whatever. You know me as a big nerd, I'm going to want one right away. But I'm still trying to figure out what the actual consumer-grade applications. I can understand why the medical industry would be interested in this. At some point, you could make bones. But why does my mom want one?
Well, why do you go to Umbra? This allows designers to sell these products directly to you and that you can build and customize at home. It allows for the creativity to take an existing 3D project and adapt it to personalize it and print it out.
I see we've got on the list amongst the suggested PandaBot ideas here, shoes. Again, I guess that brings us back to that patents / copyright issue on the whole. And I can imagine it'd only be helpful if your shoes were blue. What's with the blue?
Well, we can print out in a variety of colors. We're just right now printing out with blue ABS that we've placed into the machine.
All right, so is this basically a prototyping tool at this stage in the game? Again, give me a sense as to how long it'll be before my mom says, this is something I need.
At this stage in the game, what we're aiming to, and what our target has been as a manufacturing consumer electronics good, something your mom would buy and print out objects at home that she needs. The idea is to have one on every desk and one in every home.
By when?
The first release from the Kickstarter will be February.
Okay.
We're hoping that by the end of next year, and at the rate that these 3D printers have been selling, one of the lower end markets has sold 13,000 in the last 2 years.
Really? To whom?
Just to makers and hobbyists and consumers who are a little more technically inclined.
You use the term maker, which brings me to an interesting point. Maker itself has one of these things, but it's not going to be $800 for the public to buy.
The MakerBot replicator is they originally built products that you built yourself, and in the last year they've adapted and are now starting to build pre-assembled replicators. The problem is that their price is going up. We're aiming for the consumer market. We want to keep the price below what an ordinary consumer would afford.
How do you make your money? Is it like the Hewlett-Packard model where you get dinged on the ink cartridge? Is that how it works?
Well, no, actually, we're going to make our money through the manufacturing. We've designed this from the bottom up as a manufacturable consumer electronics product. As we sell more, there is going to be an economy of scale, and that'll provide the capital. Yes, we will be selling
The ink.
The ink, but we're not aiming to sell that with a high markup.
Kelly John, great having you with us. Fascinating stuff. Thank you so much. All the best to you, sir.
Oh, thank you.
Kelly John Rose is the CEO of Panda Robotics. As far as what's on the docket for tomorrow, economically speaking, it's just the states with the ISM data for New York due for the month of September, amongst other data points. That's it for this edition of The Close. I'm Michael Hainsworth. Thank you for joining us. If you